All right, it's 7 o'clock. We're going to call the Dumfriestown Council meeting of Wednesday, October the 5th, 2022 at 7 p.m. We're going to call it to order. Mr. Clerk, would you call for the roll, please?
Thank you, Mayor. Councilman Pete,
Here.
Councilman Brown,
Present.
Councilwoman Miles, Vice Mayor Nickerson, Councilwoman Neville,
Present.
Councilman Fields.
He's here.
Mayor Wood.
Here.
Mayor, we have a quorum tonight.
All righty. First on our agenda is a moment of silent prayer. Amen. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. With that said, next on the agenda is the adoption of our agenda.
So moved, Mayor.
Second. It's been moved by Councilman Fields, second by Councilman Brown. See any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll call for the question. All right, Councilman Fields.
Yes.
Councilwoman Neville.
Aye.
Councilman Brown. Aye. Councilman Pete.
Yes.
All right, that motion carries as well. Oh, that's an aye for me. All right, next on the agenda is the approval of the September 20th minutes.
Move.
It's been moved by Councilman Pete, second by Councilman Fields. Any discussion?
Mayor, I will be abstaining as I was not present for that meeting.
All right, seeing no further discussion, we'll call for the question. All right, Councilman Brown. Aye. Councilman Pete.
Yes.
Councilman Fields.
Yeah.
Councilwoman Neville.
I'll abstain.
And that's a yes for me. The motion carries. All right, next on our agenda is the citizen comment period.
Mayor, we have one speaker signed up this evening, Miss Ebony Lofton.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ebony Lofton. I wanted to first start by saying thank you to Officer, and I have his name written down. There was a alleged shooting in South Cove about 3 o'clock in the morning. I received a phone call startled by one of our residents, and he was very helpful, called back to give a status. I am concerned, though, that it's followed up on, that we maybe get some sort of report and something more frequently for the community. The other thing I wanted to speak on, and it's something that I talked about sometime last year, and looking at the open data portal that Mr. Rogers talks so much about, looking at the 2021 comprehensive annual report, which in the financial world is considered an audit. There are some deficiencies in the reporting. I know that you all had Davenport and Company come and make presentations. However, they are an investment firm, as you know, members of the New York Stock Exchange, but they are not certified public accountants and can't give an exact statement on the condition of the town. But there are some concerns, particularly those related to the Virginia retirement system, indicating that funds were not process, that there are discrepancies. There's mentions of bank accounts not being reconciled at a certain period of time. And there are some particular weaknesses with regards to just general financial statements and even some of the awards. And so I think it's important for all the citizens in the town of Dumfries, when we're talking about fiscal responsibility, obviously you all are deciding on continuing the project with the roads, and it's very exciting for a lot of residents. But I think it's fair to the citizens to know true information about the town's financial position, and more specifically, and I'll close with this, is the town charter indicates that there should be a mid-year review in February, and I don't believe that happened this year. So things like that are very important to ensure the financial health of the town and as it affects our citizens. Thank you so much for your time. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Anyone else signed up?
There's no one else signed up to speak.
All right, well, next on our agenda is council comments. Councilman Pete? you can go.
Oh, yes, I want to first thank the police department and the Chief Galen and his team for an exciting basketball tournament this past in September the 14th it was. It was a nice gathering. The weather was excellent. Food was great. The snow cones was out and everything. And we had a nice gathering with the community, interacting with our police department. There was no, I didn't want to play with the police department, or there was no, I didn't want to play with the community. It was a fun day. I want to especially thank Miss Supervisor Andrea Bailey for her presence and attendance in the tournament. The mayor also for being in attendance. He was emceeing for us. It had the crowd excited and everything, and we just had a nice, good old time of one of the things I consistently talk about and bring in attraction, not just around us, but right into the heart of our communities and in which we develop our youth. And, I'm big on the youth development and what type of paths that they choose and go. And I always stand on, if we give them something to do, they'll have something to do. So again, I want to say thank you to Chief Galen and his department, and Mr. Rogers. The staff is excellent in that department. Also moving on, I want to thank Ray and Jimmy of our Public Works Department. They've been doing this for a long time now, and I constantly see, especially Jimmy, walking around, helping beautify the town. And I just really want to thank those guys for the work that they do for the community. And that's all I have at the moment, man. Thank you, guys.
Councilman Brown?
Thank you, Mayor. Most time when I have any comments, I normally thank town manager and his staff. And I just like today, I want to say thank you to the council, vice mayor. It's been a pleasure working with you all. There's things that we have accomplished through this particular team. There's checks and balances here. We all don't agree, but we get stuff done. And I just want to thank you all. That's it.
Councilman Fields?
Yes, good evening, everyone. Man, I'm excited going into the fall. We just came off of a wonderful Virginia Municipal League annual conference down in Richmond. A lot to be learned, a lot to bring back to the town. So if anyone doubts our participation there, Dumfries is always setting the standard. And we have been and we will continue to do so, meeting and talking with other elected officials around the state and other interests around the state that we bring back here to help us here in Dumfries continue to do what we're doing. We're doing a very fine job. Some sad news to report. Mr. Simmons, everyone might know, lives on Siegel Court, I think.
He's my neighbor.
Yeah, he passed away week before last, I think, and he's the guy that had the blue ice cream truck for many years riding around. So he was well up in age of, I think, a career war veteran. So he's sorely missed. And I just talked to him days before he passed. And he was talking about he wanted some help getting the trees that were overhanging from the right of way onto his property that's in between Williamstown and Porter Dumfries. So I still want to honor his request because his family or whoever will probably be taking over his home. So we still want to try to honor his request and try to get those trees taken care of. But my condolences to the family, and he will be missed. Thank you.
Councilwoman Neville.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I echo the sentiments of Councilman Fields. We had a wonderful time at the Virginia Municipal League Fall Conference. Be local and be
Be
bold. That was the theme. It was a great theme. It was a great time coming together face to face with people I haven't seen in a very long time to share best practices in local government. I am a friend of the granddaughter of Mr. Simmons, and I would like to extend my deepest condolences to the family. October each month recognizes a lot of things. This month, of course, we have breast cancer awareness. Please make sure you have your regular appointments and just don't wait until you get sick to go, but just take your preventive appointments very seriously. It's also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And I would like to point out some activities going on in ACTS, PWC. They have sexual assault services, Darkness into Light, Stewards for Children. It's a virtual training conference, or I'm sorry, not conference, a seminar on October 25th from 6 to 8. And they also have a domestic violence hotline, which is open 24/7. No matter what you're going through, what time you're going through it, they are available to help you and answer your call. That number is 703-221-4951. And I would be remiss as a public school teacher if I did not acknowledge World Teachers Day today. So thank you to every teacher. Just thank you. And for those who are not teachers, you can do the next best thing. You can sign up to be a substitute so we can take our days off and have coverage for our classes. Every school system is hiring for every role, especially substitutes. There's a critical shortage there as well. But know that teachers really want to be treated like the professionals that we are. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. To piggyback off of Councilwoman Neville's comments with regard to all the different awareness programs that we celebrate in the month of October, bring awareness to the Prince William Community Foundation, which we all are pretty familiar with as a stellar community partner in the town of Dumfries, is hosting its annual Health and Wellness Expo this coming Saturday to be held at the Dale City Boys and Girls Club. And at that expo, there will be fun for the entire family, but all the different awarenesses that we are bringing awareness to in the month of October, there will be a wealth of information at that Health and Wellness Expo. Excuse me. So if you have an opportunity to come by, you will find lots of resources there to help you, free resources for the entire family that range everywhere from financial information to health and wellness information. So if you get an opportunity to stop by, bring your children and get all the resources that you can, wrap your arms around, quite frankly. And that's it for me. Thank you.
All right. We got a lot. I just start back at the top. Breast Cancer Awareness Month, check. Domestic Violence Awareness Month, check. You're aware. Chiropractic Health Month, we celebrated that last year, right? Chiropractic Health, make sure you're taking care. Yep, I see you, Captain, back there, stretching your neck a little bit. Don't try to crack your own, seek professional help. And our seniors got to hear from our chiropractor. He came through and spoke to the seniors last month and really showed them some great stretching exercise and things to alleviate them. One of the seniors actually, without him even touching them, actually reduced their pain in their knee by 50% just from one little exercise. So somebody who specializes that and who can help them out and showed them really a lot of preventive ways for our senior community. So that was a great demonstration that happened for our seniors. Yep, World Teacher Day is October the 5th. Make sure, which was yesterday, right? Yeah, that was yesterday. missed it. We have on our offices will be closed on Monday because we celebrate Indigenous People Day. So please don't come by our office. Don't call us and say that nobody was available because our offices will be closed. For those of you who has a sweet tooth, October the 14th is National Dessert Day. This is a little fun fact, National Dessert Day. Make sure y'all bring them all by on the 14th because the day after that, on the 16th, 2 days, is National Bosses Day. So, Keith, you'll probably be getting a lot of the sweets from your staff on here just because it's National Bosses Day. The VML conference was great. Before the VML conference, the vice mayor and I had the opportunity to spend 2 days at the Mayor's Institute, which was really great time of sharing information and problem solving with other mayors along the Commonwealth. We got to hear from a great tangent of a city manager and a mayor from Virginia Beach came up and really talked about some of the best practices that they had. Different mayors talked about conflict resolution from a standpoint, not just on the dais, but inside the community. We had the same speaker that was at VML, and we talked a lot about what civility means in a community and how different words play as far as it being mutually beneficial, rather there's a ebb and flow, but it took a real look at how we communicate and how we see from each other's perspectives, and to be very understandable. I think we all who went can agree that Dumfries is probably one of the most civil councils in the state, but other than that we know how to get along with each other and really in the community. So that was a great to really listen to and hear how different people handles civility. Your town, as Councilman Phil said, was very well represented. Our town manager serves on the finance board as the chair. I got elected this year as the vice president of Virginia Municipal League, which is a great honor. And we did something I think that was major, that was changing. We were able to, the VML board voted unanimously because they had a void. Next year, they're going to the city of Norfolk, but they had a void in 2024. And they voted unanimously to bring the VML conference to the town of Dumfries in 2024. So Destination Dumfries is definitely coming to a reality. And it was a unanimous vote from the board. So we appreciate VML board and having trust that we'll be able to host 500 guests here in 2024 for the VML conference. So that is exciting as well. We're talking about being local and being bold. I think in history, this is the first time a small town gets the opportunity to host this type of conference and to bring it in. And so, when I came up with the mission statement in 2012 that I wanted to make Dumfries a destination place that people from all over DC, Maryland, and Virginia didn't just drive through, but drive to. I had no idea how that type of thing would happen. It was just a mission statement. But I think when you put things out into the universe and the atmosphere, things just continue to align to make those type of things happen. I too want to give my condolences to the Simmons family on their loss, any type of loss. And we've had several people that people have lost in the month of September. And I definitely don't want to be remiss to not be able to give my condolences to those people. Got the opportunity to talk to Miss Elsie Garrison after she got out the hospital, and she was doing good, happy, and vibrant. Looking forward to seeing that 101 birthday. And she told me to make sure I convey to the staff that she still wants to see that creek fixed before she passes away. So please, can we hurry up and get the creek fixed? So I just want to make sure I put that message out there. So I knew she was doing all right when the second thing she talked to me about was the creek. So last thing, the Boys and Girls Club is hosting everyone help me out with this one. It's the Big Kids event.
Yes.
Yeah, what's the days of that? Because and tell them a little bit, because you're mentoring a young person.
So it's October 13th. They're going to have the conference or the final mentor event. This year, I mentored one of the young ladies at our local Boys and Girls Club here. We're still taking donations. This is an annual fundraiser. So if you are blessed, please bless someone. Thank you.
So our annual Big Kids event, we created here in Prince William County and at the Boys and Girls Club level, and all the other Boys and Girls Club around the DC Metro begin to, you say this area has become a blueprint. They begin to mimic what we did because it was so successful. We have professional mentors who, over a series of a couple months, they would take a young person into their world and begin to mentor them. Some of them would take them on excursions either to their job or find out really what that young person wants to do and really begin to mentor and guide them. This year, Councilman Brown was selected to mentor for one of the mentors from the Dumfries Club, and he's been working with this young person over the last couple months. And it climaxes, and it's really a contest to see which mentee mentor can raise the most amount of money. And so there's like a tracking board and things like that. And there's a grand finale with a dinner and a banquet and things like that. And so that's on October the 13th. Y'all email Councilman Brown with all the rest of y'all questions and how you can support.
And your funding.
All right. And your money, yes. So you can win when we have it done for. All right. Seeing no further council comments, we'll move on to our action items in our public hearing. And our first public hearing is a resolution for a zoning text amendment 2022-001 concerning our comprehensive sign plan. The floor is yours.
Perfect. Thank you, council. Tonight, before you all, we will be, we have a zoning text amendment 22-001. Next slide, please. This is to add the definition of comprehensive sign plan to the zoning ordinance, along with the approval process and the regulations for this comprehensive sign plan. To begin with, I'll just give a quick overview of what's included in the proposed amendment. First is the definition. It would be a graphic representation with signed specifications detailing a plan of all signage proposed for a particular structure, lot, or development. Next slide, please. For the illumination, electronic sign displays will be allowed as a part of the comprehensive sign plan. So one electronic display sign is allowed per lot unless additional are approved as a part of the comprehensive sign plan. The comprehensive sign plan shall also define the hours of operation of the sign when in the view of a residential community. Next slide, please. The regulations. So for the regulations for this, it's going to provide flexibility from the existing side ordinance. It's going to have it's going to allow the planning commission and town council to provide input through the same process as a conditional use permit, while also streamlining the sign permit approval process for larger scale developments such as the rows. To go along with that, there's also going to be a statement of justification required detailing how the signs in the comprehensive sign package will achieve the following. I don't want to have to read it off for you all. It should be in your agenda packet as well. Next slide, please. At its September 12th meeting, the Planning Commission recommended that the Town Council approve this zoning text amendment as well. Staff also recommends that the Town Council approves the proposed amendments to the zoning ordinance. I'm happy to answer any questions that you all may have at the time. Thank you very much.
Council, any questions on the presentation? Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Nick. How does this zoning text amendment coincide with the boundaries of the historic district with regard to the Architectural Review Board? I ask because having served many years on the Architectural Review Board, I know that it was a point of contention with that board with regard to, for instance, when Dumfries Elementary wanted to have a sign. Some of the historic members of the Architectural Review Board were concerned with how that sign did not fit within the guidelines of the ARB. And so with regard to what we're looking at here, how does this coincide with the guidelines of that? Does this override that, or are these guidelines outside of the perimeter of the ARB?
That's a fantastic question. It would override the regulations. However, as staff, we would ask that any applicant who has a property or project with a sign that would be in that historic overlay district, that they adhere to the design guidelines. So for example, for a freestanding sign, any colors would meet the ARB design guidelines for color scheme. But we also have to be aware that, that we have to have a combination of both past, but also present and future. So we have to enable these future developments to come in with these sign designs, but also contribute some of that, some of the historic aesthetic that that is currently in the town of Dumfries. So while it does supersede the ARB design guidelines, staff would make it's so that they do adhere to the color scheme at least. And that while the electronic display signs for the ARB design guidelines are not permitted, we are also planning on updating those to reflect the current standing of the town. And with all of the new development projects that are coming in the future, because our Main Street is historic, but we also want to make it current and up to date. So
Right, kind of find that balance.
exactly.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. One last follow-up question is, I would say maybe about a year ago, there was also questions about a gas station that was being updated on Route 1. And so there were questions about having conditional use permit for a sign there, that where other gas stations had, electronic boards and that one didn't, but it was the zoning text, the zoning text did not actually. So is this correcting that, making it so that we would not have those type of issues moving forward?
So that is a great question as well. So for that would not correct it, because for this, it would just be in the PMUD zoning district as because in 2016, when this was created, it says that all projects that are pre-zoned in this zoning district have to follow a comprehensive sign plan. It is hard to do that when there's no definition or approval process within the zoning ordinance at the time. And to be quite honest with you, with all of the new growth and the new developments, we felt it was time to have these zoning text amendments. And I do recall that gas station, I was able to work with them, and we were able to achieve what they wanted with the signage. But to answer your question in short, that would not be related to that at all.
Are we going to, or have we already made the necessary changes then to the zoning text for maybe that area, so that that's nothing that we have to run into again? Because my understanding in that situation is that there was not language that allowed it, even though others had it. And that was where the issue was, because some of your predecessors did not necessarily adhere to the way things should have been done.
Yeah, agreed. And for that, with staff as it currently is, we're going to do our best to ensure that that the consistency of the sign plan ordinance is enforced, but also with the in the next fiscal year, we are aiming to do a zoning ordinance update to bring the ordinance up to 2022. So that would be something we would want to look at that time. So it's great that you're asking these questions. But for this right now, I think this is a good starting point.
Absolutely. And that's what I was looking for, to know that it's a process that we are working on.
Yes.
And I know that it's going to take time because there are a lot of documents to go through. But ultimately, what
Yes.
I really was looking for was to know that we are on the process of
Yes,
doing
we
all
are.
of that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Councilman Phils.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Just about everything you was going to ask, I was going to ask as well. So it's great to see that we are moving forward. Historic, but that doesn't mean we need to stay archaic. You know what I'm trying to say. So it's good to see that we're moving forward with that, and let's brighten up Dumfries. Yes.
I think you answered my question in your conversation. But how does this ordinance that we putting in gonna play into our Main Street plan that we've written up, being that it's also in this overlay district?
Yeah, it will play into that. It will enable us to ask specific projects that come in the future to create a comprehensive sign plan that is in line with that Main Street small area plan. Because we didn't have anything in the zoning text, we didn't have anything in the zoning ordinance until now, potentially to enable us to do that. So when we go along the proffers process in the future, we could ask that this be taken, that can be negotiated during the rezoning and then during the site plan process as well. So that's something that we can continue to enforce, and that we align not only the small area plan, but the zoning ordinance as well to that.
All right, were there any further questions on the staff report? Okay, seeing no further questions on the staff report, we will now open up the public hearing. Okay, town manager, is anyone signed up to speak at our public hearing? Okay. Is anyone here that wanted to speak at our public hearing? Seeing none, I will close up the public hearing. All right, and the requested action is to approve zoning text amendment ZTA 2022-001 to amend chapter 70 of the town code, Town of Dumfries zoning ordinance to add the definition, the approval process, and regulations of a comprehensive sign plan to the zoning ordinance.
So moved.
Second. It's been moved by the Vice Mayor, second by Councilwoman DeVille. Seeing any further discussion? Seeing none, I will call for the, you got a question, Councilman Pete?
Town manager, I just want to thank you guys for this right here. We've been looking for this for many years to upgrade the lighting in the town of Dumfries. And as I said, sometime maybe a year and a half ago, that's Vegas style, this thing.
It's not, that's not what this plan is doing. This is a comprehensive sign plan to the zoning ordinance to add definitions, approval process, and regulations. Okay, this is not what that is. That's what it says. All right, is there any? Just want to make sure I say that on the record. Thank you. Yes. All right, is there any other discussion on the motion that's on the floor? Okay, I'll call for the question. Councilman Pete.
Yes.
Councilman Brown. Aye. Councilwoman DeVille.
Aye.
Councilman Fields.
Yes.
Vice Mayor.
Yes.
And that's a yes for me. All right, motion carries 6-0. All right, next public hearing item, or is this continued? Oh, no, this is initiate. Okay, next action item is initiating resolution to schedule a public hearing for CSP 2022-001 with the town council. Town
Yes,
manager.
yes, thank you, Mayor. So the item that is before us is an initiating resolution. And so we're looking for a motion from council to allow us to schedule a public hearing for CSP 2022-001 with a council public hearing date of October the 18th.
Okay, council, any questions? Councilman Fields.
I move that we go forward with initiating a resolution to schedule a public hearing for CSP 2022-001.
Second.
Second.
It's been motion. Tim, did you get the second? Who would you write the second down for? Okay, all right, very well. Any discussion on the motion? Councilman Fields? Oh, okay, you said no, okay, so Councilman Fields?
Yes.
Councilwoman Neville?
Aye.
Councilman Brown?
Aye.
Councilman Pete?
Yes.
Vice Mayor?
Yes.
That's a yes for me. That motion carries. This time, this meeting is